Hello, my friends. We've got a little bit of an update on the coward that shot the CEO. So I don't even want to say his name, although it is going to show it in the video. But let's get to it. Let's see what's going on. All right, let's do it.
All right, buck up. We begin with a Fox News alert. The suspect in the killing of the UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson has been charged after being arrested Monday at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Right now, he's being held at a jail in Huntingdon, Pennsylvania.
Yep. Alexis McAdams has been covering the case all week long from the time of the shooting, actually within the hour. Alexis is now joining us here. Alexis, bit of a surprise that we found him in Altoona.
That's right. And it came in from a 911 call from a worker of that McDonald's. So that's how this case ended up breaking, according to authorities. So the manhunt for the killer now ending at that McDonald's in Pennsylvania. Luigi Mangione is facing a wide range of charges now, including murder right here in New York City. So the 26-year-old, you see him there on your screen, he was cuffed, then walked out of a Pennsylvania police department overnight. He's kind of looking around at the media, seeing who's out there, and there were a lot of cameras capturing his every move. Mangione then stood in front of a judge who explained that he could be extradited to New York City because he was hit with some charges in Pennsylvania, but the ones in New York City are the ones that are the most serious, including murder. So this comes after a McDonald's employee spots Mangione in Altoona, Pennsylvania. It's like a 4.5-hour drive away from where this murder happened. That person called 911 to report the sighting, saying, I think I recognize the guy in the wanted pictures, specifically his eyebrows and his eyes, because he was wearing some type of surgical mask as he was eating inside that McDonald's. Mangione was sitting there wearing that mask. When officers pulled up and asked him some questions, they said, remove your mask, and then questioned the 26-year-old, who they say started shaking visibly, acting really nervous when they asked him, were you recently in New York? Then he handed over a fake ID, and that's key because he used that fake ID, sources tell me, to check into a New York City hostel before the shooting. Mayor Eric Adams has been thanking the officer out in Altoona who caught Mangione. Listen.
Hey, Tyler.
I guess we found your guy.
Yes, we as New Yorkers, we appreciate it.
You know, one thing, one of my friends, he was, him and his wife were over at dinner just the other night. And he was saying he dives deep into conspiracy theories a little bit, maybe a little bit more than I do. I love a good conspiracy theory, but he was saying that the killer, the guy that they caught, Luigi, actually isn't the guy that pulled the trigger. And he was saying, I don't know what he was looking at, but he was saying something about the facial recognition and I don't know, yada yada yada. But I was like, I don't know. The stuff I've seen, it looks like it's the same dude. And there seems to be a lot of pretty concrete evidence tying this guy to the shooting. So I don't know. I hope he's not a patsy. That would be super horrible if that's what it ends up being. But I think this is the guy.
And you just did a great job. Heads up policing. You took a dangerous person off the street. We thank you so much.
It was great to do. More happy to do it. I can't say I was expecting it waking up this morning.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You just have to keep your eye out, and that's exactly what the worker did at McDonald's and the authorities there in Altoona. Mangione is facing these charges on your screen, including second-degree murder in New York and possession of a loaded gun, a gun they believe he printed on a 3D printer. Mangione had a backpack with them at the time of the arrest. Inside was a handwritten note that they say explained a possible motive, talking all about how he was in severe back pain and talking about the healthcare industry, saying it was a big scam. Also inside was a weapon. The Ivy League grad and Maryland native who went to a really expensive prep school and then went to UPenn reportedly mentioned UnitedHealthcare by name. Reading this, they say, parasites had it coming. I do apologize for any strife and trauma, but it had to be done. So some disturbing words there that will all be part of this case. This is who was killed on your...
I'm sorry. No man or woman deserves to die because of their job, I think. And this guy, this poor guy, I mean, he's a father, right? I mean, he's a father. He's got, I think a couple of kids. And he's a husband. I mean, that whole family is just destroyed now because of his loss and the cowardness of Luigi or if it is somebody else that turns out to be the case. Somebody killed him, and they did it in one of the most cowardly ways possible. So, man, he's just walking down the street. Never even knew it was coming. That's horrible. I just hope he went quickly.
Your screen. He was a dad at 2. He was only 50 years old, in town for work. He worked for UnitedHealthcare for like 2 decades and was shot at least 2 times. In that video, he kind of gets shot in the leg first, then shot right in the chest. He leaves behind a wife and 2 kids. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro.
So I haven't seen the full video clip. I don't think anybody outside of law enforcement or news has probably seen it. But yeah, I mean, if he got shot in the leg, that probably meant he went down to the ground and landed on his back, probably, if he got a second shot in the chest. So horrible, absolutely horrible. And then you've got, you know, all these libs like AOC and you know, they're basically saying, like, you know, oh, you shouldn't resort to murder or whatever, but and then they totally qualify the taking of this guy's life. So anytime anybody uses a but, their first part of that sentence is not true. So,
making sure people in their community know he was not a hero, this gunman.
No.
In some dark corners, this killer is being hailed as a hero.
Unbelievable.
Hear me on this. He is no hero. The real hero in this story is the person who called 911 at McDonald's this morning.
So Josh Shapiro using that moment to let everybody know, you know, how he personally felt about some of the abhorrent behavior of people who thought this guy was anything but a murderer. But let's focus on the manifesto if we can. Handwritten, 2.5 pages, condemn the healthcare system. The document specifically mentioned UnitedHealthcare, the insurance giant. You also, as you said before, one of the quotes was they called them parasites. He saw the document, he says, I do apologize for the strife and trauma. You think? As I killed the father of your family and your husband, I apologize for that. But it's clear there was one person who was the high school valedictorian, went to UPenn, and it seems to be a different person now.
Yeah, something changed. You can listen to his speech when he was a valedictorian, you know, at that prep school in Maryland, and he's talking all about how the class there in 2016 wanted to get out there into the world and make a big difference. And now you look at, you know, he had a bright future. His family had posted about that. He was very intelligent in the classroom. And now with this, he's looking, you know, to spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Well, and people are starting to do a deep dive on his online profile. And I believe it was the Wall Street Journal looked at the reviews he wrote on books he had read. And among other things, he gave a book about the Unabomber's Manifesto 4 stars. And we don't know exactly why, if this guy is the guy. Right now, he is, you know, he's still the alleged shooter. But it is interesting when you start to look at his online stuff, his X account, formerly known as Twitter, features what looks like an X-ray of somebody who's gone through spinal surgery.
That's right.
And, you know, people who've known him say that back pain affected all parts of his life. Guy's 26 years old. Was he just kicked off his parents' health insurance? Is that why, if he's the guy who did it, is that why this person wrote deny, delay, depose on the...
Yeah, I guess that's a valid point. I mean, he would be of that age, right, when kids get kicked off their health insurance. But if he's from a wealthy family, I mean, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I don't know what this kid was doing for a job, because it sounded like he did some traveling around the world and stuff and spent some time in Japan just chilling, apparently. But I just couldn't believe that the parents would just cut him off. Like, he wouldn't have some sort of like monthly allowance of probably a substantial amount to live on. There's no way that those parents would just let him flounder and fend for himself, you know, after putting him through school and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know anything about his personal life. Maybe he did. Maybe he got kicked off. Maybe he got cut off from the trust fund or whatever. I don't know. So, yeah, I mean,
those bullets, There are a lot of clues. We just haven't figured them all out unless it's the obvious one.
Yeah, and he had also written on social media and in some of these other things in the manifesto about how he's in severe pain. He used to be a really good soccer player, some of his friends had said, in high school, and he was very active when he lived in Hawaii. He was always hiking and doing all these things, and then he kept talking about how his back hurt so bad from whatever had happened to him. I don't know what type of injury, and how the hospital, it wasn't the doctor's fault, he kept saying, but they would deny his claims.
The insurance company.
Yeah, the insurance company. So we're going to have to see, what happened here. But I think it's so disturbing that so many people, like you guys mentioned, are cheering on the gunman.
Still doesn't warrant murder, though. I mean, it's still not anywhere close.
And saying that he did a job that needed to be done.
I'm worried about that. And as someone that I cover crime, you've covered crime for years. It's not only that there are people that are celebrating this guy, but it's also his plight. People being upset with the healthcare industry. The fact that people almost find him sympathetic, even if you start to get deeper, and if this allegation about the back pain being so much painful that led him to this.
The trigger.
I'm concerned that the jury, there's someone in there that can relate that will let a guy like this off.
Yeah, it could really muddy up the waters for sure.
Never seen anything like this before.
I know. And then as the investigation continues, yesterday, we saw so many divers out there in Central Park. They were searching for any evidence they could find, like the other backpack that had Monopoly money in it. So that could come into play in a courtroom. And then also the backpack he had with him in Altoona, that backpack had a weapon in it. They don't know if that's a specific weapon, I'm told, that was used in this shooting.
Right.
So did
See, that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird that he would have two different backpacks. And that he would just carry the weapon with him after the fact. I mean, he takes off from New York, flees the area, but he keeps the weapon on him? That's kind of weird. Just saying.
Did he print multiple guns? Did he have other possible possible victims that could have been coming? We don't know.
It's hard to even believe that you can do that. So he lived in the Surf Break co-living community in Honolulu. Residents there said that he did have chronic back pain. Here is one of his roommates. I don't know if this is a college roommate or someone from Hawaii. College roommate? Hawaii. All right, listen to this.
That kind of looks like
unfathomable. Knowing the kind, person that I saw and knew. I remember he said he had a back issue and he was hoping to get stronger in Hawaii. It also weighed on him that he knew that there was an impending surgery.
So we're wondering, is that what caused him to snap? Was he in so much pain? But now he's going to be sleeping on a bed in a prison. The pain's going to be worse.
That's right. They have him in a holding cell. He's going to be possibly, in federal lockup. If you look at the charges that could come from printing a gun, I don't know what kind of facility he'll be in. But yeah, he's going to have big problems here down the road. And you got to wonder, too, did his family, did anybody recognize those pictures? How did a guy at McDonald's in Altoona say, hey, I think I've seen that man? And the family did not, according to investigators.
Alexis, do we, our stage
and he had
manager,
a mask on.
Chris said, why not first degree, which is capital murder? It was premeditated, judging by the manifesto. Do we expect more charges at some point today? Or do you think they're going to stay in the second degree?
I think it could change. I think those were just, the ones they could get him on now, and then they could always update. They just wanted to make sure they had a really tight case. They don't want it to get to court, possibly, and then have this thing flip. So they just charged him with that for now. But also the question is, did he really want to get this specific CEO, or was he looking for anybody that was coming in and out that day?
Sure. And the thing about ghost guns, and I remember it from the debate when, this became an issue.
I don't think a 3D printed gun is not a ghost gun, right? Isn't a ghost gun where they file off the serial number and then it gets passed around to whoever or whomever?
They would be hard to detect in X-ray machines. You could take them onto an airplane, and so fast forward to now, and it's like you can look online and figure out how to print one up. The guy was at UPenn studying computer science. He was an engineer. If anybody should have no problems doing it, it would be somebody with that resume.
That's right. Yeah, background in engineering, 2 degrees from UPenn, and this is what he used it for. So we're going to have to see what plays out here.
Which is kind of weird,
All
too.
right, Alexis, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Shocking, though, isn't it? Not the type of guy that we would expect to do something like this.
Not at
With his
all.
family background, his parents and grandparents opened country clubs and healthcare facilities, real estate company. They had money.
Yeah.
He went to this private prep school in Baltimore called the Gilman School.
Yeah, he had quite the pedigree, so now he's going to be possibly behind bars for the rest of his life.
Yeah, on that shot of him, you know, there's the shot of the camera that's above him on the street, and he's got his hood on and stuff. That picture of that person does look a little bit different from Luigi. I think the nose looks different, and the eyebrows. Luigi, in that photo that we just saw, he has super thick eyebrows, and the guy in the photo didn't seem to have matching eyebrows, and his nostrils, his nose didn't seem the same either. So I don't know. Anyways, it'll all get sorted out. I just hope they have the right guy, and God bless the CEO, who's now in heaven. So, okay. Well, listen, if you enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing and leave your comments down below. I always do appreciate hearing from you. And until the next video, stay safe, and we'll catch you later. All right, bye.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear.